Here we're going to do Abigail Boxer's 2020 return, and there are a couple of small changes from the 2019 return. So if we take a look, notice across my top I have got the 2020 Form 1040 already up on a tab, and the tax instruction booklet, which has the tax tables. I've already got that ready to go. And here is my Cengage book already ready to go. So you may want to make sure that you do that similarly for the exam, to have everything up in tabs ready to go before you get into the exam. All right, so here we have Abby Boxer's a single mother. She was born in 1982, so obviously she's not 65 years old yet. Okay, she's working as a civilian accountant for the U.S. Army. Here's her Social Security number, of course. Again, on the exam, the Social Security number will be found on the W-2 or 1099s. She lives at 3456 South Career Avenue, Sioux Falls. And she has an 18-year-old daughter, okay? And that is a dependent child living with her mother. She does not qualify for child tax credit due to her age, but does qualify for the other dependent credit of $500. Now, in the future, once we talk more about these credits, you will not be told what credits they do and do not qualify for. You'll have to figure it out yourself. So a child tax credit is for less than 17 years old, and Abby is 18. So child tax credit she would not receive. However, if we go through the dependency tests, the first test is a relationship test, and she is a daughter, so that passes that test. The next test is an age test. Is she less than 19, or is she less than 24 and a full-time student? Well, she's less than 19, so she passes the age test. Okay? She didn't make any money, so she passes. She can't support herself type of test. She's a U.S. citizen, etc. So she passes all the tests to be a qualifying child. Now, if we quickly look at Maria Tallchief, okay, she is single. She has no dependents. Okay, if we take a look at Hardy and Dora Knox, they're married filing joint. They have a son named Fort, and he is a dependent that's living with him. He's not a full-time student, and he makes $5,200. Okay, and his birthday was in 2000, and this is 2020, so he's 20 years old. Okay, so when we go through the qualifying child dependency, the first one is the relationship test, and he is their son, so he passes that one. We get down to the age test. It says, is he less than 19? Well, no, he's not. Or is he less than 24 and he's a full-time student? No, he's not that either. So he does not pass the qualifying child test. So then we can try and see, well, is he a qualifying relative? So in that case, there is no age test. He does pass the relationship test and the domicile test where he lives in with them. But there is a test where he has to make less than $4,300 for 2020. Well, he made $5,200. So he cannot be claimed as a dependent at all on their return, and they will get no credit. If he only made $4,200, which is less than $4,300. He does pass all the other tests. He could be put on their return as a dependent, and they could get the $500 credit for him, the $500 credit for other dependents. But in this case, he made too much, so he is not a dependent at all. Okay, back to Abby. Okay, she's less than 19, so she is a qualifying child dependent, but she does not get the child tax credit because she's not less than 17. But she can get the other credit, the credit for other dependents, and that's the $500. Okay, here's our W-2, and so we'll be using that. It also says she had taxable interest of $127 and tax-exempt interest of $300. She received a stimulus check, that's the EIP. It's Economic Impact Payment, also known commonly as the stimulus check. So she got that first one. Okay? All right, so let's go forward. Six, 7, 6, 7, 3. And the rest of it's 3, 3, 1, 1. Okay, so we've got her name and social security number. You're going to want to make sure to double check that social security number, and it's good. Okay, you would put her address. I'm not going to put that down here right now. We need to put her filing status. Okay, she is unmarried. She's single, but she has this daughter that's living in her house that she's supporting that we said was a dependent. So if someone is single and they are raising a child that does qualify as a dependent, then they can use the head of household status, which is better than the single status. So she is head of household. We're going to check off head of household. All right. She's not over 65 or blind. She's not doing married filing separate. So none of this stuff in the middle here. At any time did Abby sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in any virtual currency? That's like Bitcoin. You've probably heard of Bitcoin. Okay, so anything that's similar to Bitcoin, if she bought or sold it or anything to do with it, she would have to mark yes. Since nothing was said about it, we're going to assume no. If this were real life, we would ask her this question and get a definite yes or no out of it. All right. So we're going to go down here to the dependents. And Helen Boxer is the name of the dependent. We need her social security number, 67673 312 676. And we'll double check that. 7673 3312. Oops. Yep. Look at this. I made a mistake. Okay. 73. Okay. So if you were one of those people, okay, that just slapped it down there and you would have had that mistake, you would have a 0 on this. Not necessarily for homework. Right at the beginning, I let it go a little, but you're coming up to the first exam. On an exam, every social security number has to be correct. relationship to you. That's her daughter. Okay, does not qualify for the child tax credit because she's not less than 17. So we leave that blank. She does qualify for the credit for other dependents because she's a dependent that's not under 17, but she's still her child. So she can get the $500 credit. All right, wages. We go back to the W-2. They don't really want pennies, so we need to, this is over 50 cents, so we're going to round up. So that'll be $59,665. Okay, she did have tax exempt interest of $300, and it said she had taxable interest of $127. Notice there's two different places, so you have to be careful where to put it in. Okay, now she doesn't have any other of these kinds of income, so we can go down to line 9, which is the total income, and we add up. It tells us right here, add lines 1, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7, and 8. That's all of these here along the right-hand side. It's not asking us to add up any of these that are over to the left, including this tax-exempt interest. Tax-exempt means non-taxable. We're not going to add this up and put tax on it. But these are pieces of information the IRS wants to know about, and so we do have to put them over here, but they're not added up. So we're only adding up the $59,665, and we're adding the $127, which is the taxable interest, and we get $59,792. Okay, there's no adjustments. So line 11, her AGI is also $59,792. Her standard deduction, as they're all listed over here, she's not over 65 or blind, so we don't need to add anything. Head of household is $18,650. There's no QBI because she doesn't have her own business. So when we add 12 and 13, we still get $18,650. Line 15, taxable income. Subtract line 14 from line 11. That means you're going to take line 11 and you're going to subtract line 14. And we get 41142. If line 14 was bigger than line 11, that means we'd get a negative number. And it says on here, if 0 or less, enter 0. Tons of students, all they do is take the big number minus the small number. They don't care which one is on which line. Okay? And whatever difference they get, and then they're calculating tax on that. Okay? You have to do it this way. Subtract 14 from 11. That means you're going to take whatever's in line 11 minus whatever is in line 14. If it's a positive number, it goes here. If it's a negative number, if it's less than 0, you're going to put a 0. And there will be no tax for that person. All right, so now we need to look up 41,142 in our tax tables. So I go to my instruction booklet. I go down to the next page. Tax table is page 66, and I'm going to go find the 41,000 block. Here it is, and we're looking at 41,142, so that's between 41,100 and 41,150. She's head of household, so we go all the way to the fourth column, and that's 45,53. Okay, in part 2 of this video, we will continue on with page 2 of the 1040.